Tim, we've been talking about short game shots, and I think for a lot of amateur players, when they see the ball go into the bunker, it's an immediate panic.
Yeah.
I know you and I differ a little bit in how we teach bunker shots, but I thought maybe what we could do is just kind of run through how we do it and then give you folks at home a chance to take the information, get to a practice bunker, and just, you know, spend 20 minutes and realize it's not that hard.
Correct.
You know, there is some room for error in when you hit a bunker shot. And the way I teach it is to come in about 4 inches behind the ball. And if that's what happens, you're going to get used to how that ball reacts. If you get in there a little bit earlier, 5-6 inches behind the ball's going to come out slower, but it's going to have no spin on it at all and a release. So those two shots kind of net out.
Yep.
And then you can actually get away with getting a little bit too close to the ball sometimes. Now the ball comes out faster with a lot of spin.
A lot more spin, exactly.
So there is some room for error. Just if you're starting to panic, just remind yourself of that.
Yes.
So the way I teach bunker shots is I try to keep it as simple as possible. If that's my target line, I'm going to set up parallel to that. And the middle of my stance is going to be 4 inches behind the ball. So a club head behind the ball. And to me, I'm not making a whole lot of changes. I'm not opening my stance. I'm going to open the club a little bit based on how much sand there is. But I'm thinking of it really like a full swing.
Okay.
You know, now, it's a full size swing, but certainly not full speed.
Correct.
I like a long, slow swing. So I'm looking to get in the sand about 4 inches behind it, exit about 4 inches in front of it, and just take a kind of a long, shallow divot. So just a nice, long, slow swing. Okay, and you can get that one to spill out onto the green.
Yep. Yeah.
And you're good.
Yeah, and you know, everything you say I 100% agree with. One of the things I think is really beneficial for an amateur player is to give them a way for they can manage that entry point. A lot of amateurs, they struggle. They understand the concept of, yeah, I hit the sand first, not the ball. They get that idea, but it's, well, how do I aim the club to hit the sand in the same spot every time? And that's where they are now trying to steer their hands through the bottom of the swing to hit that specific spot. And as you know, the hands we can't rely on our hands to accommodate that. So one of the things, in addition to what you said, is I've got two other ideas that I want to introduce. Number one, I agree. Center of my stance is 4 inches behind the golf ball. Okay, because I want to have my entry point be at the center of my stance, but I want to anchor a little more pressure, weight on my lead leg. The reason why is a lot of amateurs, when they get into that big swing, they're so used to shifting to the right in their full swing, they do that in the bunker, and that's going to bring that entry point well too far behind the ball, and they're going to dump it into the lip of the bunker. Okay. So I want to make sure we set up an anchor on the lead leg, and then just to avoid focusing on driving the hands into the sand, I like them to focus on getting that rib cage to come around to the left or to the target line, towards the target, and the hands are just going to let the gravity's going to have control of what the hands do as the momentum that you generate with your rotation. And so you really don't have to focus on, if I'm entering here or here or here, it's just going to have a natural point of entry because of how you set up. And it's going to be a little bit more of an aggressive move. It's going to create a little more speed. But as you can see, you can get that ball out nice and high. You can deal with a longer bunker shot this way as well. And it's going to be able to really manage that entry point so you don't have to focus on where you're trying to get that club into the sand.